Hero here for Umbra Games with a review of Totally Reliable Delivery Service from We're 5 Games and published by tinyBuild, and is now available digitally on Switch, PS4, and Xbox One, played on Game Pass on an Xbox Series X for the review. If you were wondering, Totally Reliable Delivery Service is in fact a very sarcastic title, as you control a little pile of a person, walking, running, jumping, and some limited right and left arm movement. Your goals in the game are to flip switches on machines which shoot out a deliverable, pick that up, and transport it via foot or vehicle to a destination. The catch is this game is very reliant on its physics system, and as such, controlling yourself, your vehicles, and the object you're carrying actually becomes pretty difficult. My mind wants to break this down as just developers sitting down and putting a bunch of objects into a game with various physics properties, then add sliding control switches onto things to have them do other physics things without actually thinking about building a game, just a physics simulator. I think the helicopter is the best example of this. The left switch moves the top rotor, which moves the vehicle whichever direction that rotor is facing. So when you're sitting flat with the propeller facing up, obviously that'll take you up. The right switch moves the tail rotor, which will propel it forward and backward. But the two switches don't talk to each other. There aren't limits on a vehicle's rotation or orientation. Not to mention if you have a package in it or a person hanging from the side, you're going to feel that weight in your steering and have to learn how to compensate for it. This is the opposite in my mind and how other games have been developed with helicopters, where you just want full 360-degree movement with leveling assistance. So while the game's goals are package delivery, there aren't enemies, there are very few of the 100 for the base game that require precision, and instead the game's challenge lies a lot in just being able to pull off basic movement and functions. With these systems, of course, comes ragdoll physics. If you're not familiar with the term, in games, when the body entity of a player or enemy is heavily affected by the physics system, more particularly when input from player or AI has ceased, the game simulates the movement and keeps allowing the body to be manipulated by outside forces. Now, I'll admit I have a soft spot for ragdoll physics and the hilarity that can ensue, so this game had me laughing quite a bit. There are explosive packages, vehicles will explode if they take too much damage, and in multiplayer you can grab and manipulate other players to some fun times as well. There are a couple of points of frustration that come from this, as you can guess, and one in particular seems completely unnecessary. You can grab things, parts of vehicles, packages, other players, and using the right trigger to do so will activate the grip with both hands. If you're standing in front of a box, it will make two connections, and you can press the left trigger to attempt to lift the object over your head if it's light enough. You also have the ability to turn on hand connectors individually, with right and left shoulder buttons each moving their corresponding hand. You'd think, standing with your left hand near the handle of a helicopter and your right hand near a package, that you could easily just attach to both as desired, but this took a number of attempts every time. With that helicopter situation, learning how to fly, by the end, I'd gotten pretty good, but grabbing still stumped us nearly every time. This affected vehicle control too, just being able to jump into something and grab both handles could be a nightmare. Most vehicle entries have a blue circle that will appear, enabling you to hit A to jump in, but even that wasn't a guarantee it would set you up for proper contact. Second, jumping was extremely awkward. First of all, jumping isn't always in the upward direction. If you're on a slight incline or a surface that's not otherwise smooth, you're not going to know which direction you're going to take off until you hit the button. This was particularly annoying on the island with tree houses. The branches are comprised of multiple intertwining surfaces. I'm not going to lie, that area almost broke the game for us entirely. Secondly, sometimes you can just jump against a wall multiple times quickly and you'd be able to ascend. Sometimes your character would just get knocked out for no foreseeable reason, pass out, and then fall all the way back to the ground. Sometimes lying on the ground, just thinking you're going to get up more quickly, would just knock you out again as it sent you horizontally across the surface of the road. Third, sometimes just walking in general was a pain. Lifting your empty arms up helped at times, but there's obviously a bunch of varying friction levels on surfaces and differing positions and weights of your character's body parts. Inertia was a difficult enemy, as momentum almost always built slowly. Finally, object collision got really bad sometimes. It's fun when your partner runs you down with a truck, but then when you get stuck in it and have no way to get your character out other than just fast travel, it gets kind of old. And this doesn't even require a second player to get stuck in things. Sometimes you could just float down into something, or the delivery box will close on you and you won't be able to get out. But if you can get past all that, you'll work your way through a handful of areas, each requiring money to initially unlock the package delivery stations from the resident wizard. You gain money from completing deliveries. There are two types of delivery objectives. One is time-based, and you can watch in the upper left in real time whether you'll be awarded with gold, silver, or bronze. The second type works similarly, but you have a package condition percentage. And as your delivery takes damage, that will deplete, again, declining from gold, silver to bronze. The pay for each tier is exponential, with bronze awarding sometimes as little as $2 and gold $40, for example. It varies based on, I'm guessing, distance and difficulty. You can redo deliveries as many times as you'd like, working on obtaining better ranks, and you can also quit a delivery at any time by flipping the switch on the specific delivery machine again, or blowing up the package or dropping it in the water. In addition to deliveries, each area also has a set of collectibles. There are 2 differing sets, you only get 1 per area, and you get a small cash reward for each one you find. The first you'll encounter is rings floating in the sky that you have to fly or jump a vehicle through. Every time this was the featured collectible in the area though, my co-op partner couldn't see them, playing via online co-op. The second set is blue teddy bears that you have to break, and I think this is done by grabbing the head, forcing them to explode in a ball of fluff. Usually just run towards them with connectors on. My co-op partner could see the bears. As mentioned, you pay the wizard to open the deliveries. You can also pay him in each region to unlock customizations for both your character and vehicles. You can also pay him to unlock boxed vehicles in the area, making them available for use. You can tackle the world's regions in any order you want, providing you have the cash, so it's nice to have that freedom. There are 2 areas that are locked behind a paid DLC wall, leaving the total delivery count for non-DLC at 100. Once an area's jobs are unlocked, you can fast travel there by pressing X on any area of the map, and it'll drop you near the wizard. There's no penalty for death, which really is only achieved by falling in the water, and it'll either respawn you by the delivery machine if active, or sometimes on the nearest safest coast. So yeah, overall, as frustrating as the game can be, it does have some fun in store just for messing around, trying to see what we could pull off with the physics system, ramping, flying, crotch grabbing each other, and tossing each other into the water. Yeah, you can also lie down and fart, and make your co-op partner pass out. Very juvenile, but hey, fun is fun. Overall, totally reliable delivery service, features a good amount of content, a variety of delivery situations, online multiplayer co-op where people not the host can't see a certain collectible type, customizable characters and vehicles, horrible, awful controls, graphics that are pretty much just good enough to function, collision issues causing you to get stuck in things, but a pretty fun ragdoll physics system to play around in. Rated as an open world mission procedural, totally reliable delivery service hits a 32 out of 100 on my 0 to 100 scale, where 50 is an average game. This is Jiro for Umbra Games. Thanks for watching.